Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namo. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadigaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, dear devotees, you are welcome for continuing our Bhakti vaibhava study of third canto Srimada Bhagvatam. We are in chapter 16. Where the curse by the four Kumaras to the Jay and Vijay, and then Lord appears there and Lord is glorifying Brahmanas, four Kumaras. So the verses 6 to 11, the Lord glorifies Brahmans. So we are starting from verse number 6. Yasya amrita amalayasya sharavana avagaha Sadyah punati jagat ashava paschada vikuntaha so aham bhavadhiyaha upalabdaha sutiratha kirtis chindayan swabahum apivaha pratikula virtim. Pratikul virtim chindanti swabahum. I will cut my arm if it goes against Brahmanas. So anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandal, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of a dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ears the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. It means when you glorify my name, when you chant holy name, even the Chandals are purified. So how can I tolerate offense done to you? I, that Supreme Lord, by hearing whose glories the whole universe, including dog eater, is purified, who am famous as Tirath because of you, Tirath means purifying, will cut off my own arm if it commits offense against you. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. This is Srila Prabhupada's preaching mood. Real purification takes place by the members of Krishna conscious society. This is clear stated in Vedic literature. Anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness in all sincerity, even if he is not very advanced in good behavior, is purified. A devotee can be recruited from any section of human society, although it is not expected that everyone in all segments of society is well behaved. As stated in this verse and in many places in Bhagavad Gita, even if one is not born in Brahman family, or even if he is born in a family of Chandal, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is immediately purified. In Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter verse number 30 to 32, It's clearly stated that even though a man is not well behaved, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is understood to be saintly person. As long as this person in the material world, he has two different relationships in dealing with others. One relationship pertains to the body and other pertains to the spirit. As far as bodily affairs or social activities are concerned, although a person is purified on the spiritual platform, it's sometimes seen that he acts in terms of his bodily relationship. If a devotee born in the family of a Chandal, the lowest caste, is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities, he is not to be considered a Chandal. In other words, a Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. The Shastra stated, no one should think of the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, and no one should think that the person coming from the lower caste family who has taken to Krishna consciousness is still in the same lower caste. These attitudes are forbidden because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. He is at least engaged in the process of purification, and if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will very soon be fully purified. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified. The Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotee, even if there is a need to cut off part of his own body. So, what Srila Prabhupada has written, there are two ways we relate with the world, at the level of body and at the level of soul. This is in the purport in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes there, this is the commentary of Bhakti Vinod Thakur originally. It says everybody has a constitutional and conditional behavior. Conditional behavior is a conditioning of his body under the influence of three modes of material nature. And constitutional is the behavior of the soul, which is spiritual. So constitutionally he is a eternal servant of Krishna, he realized that, but conditionally his body is conditioned by the influence of modes. He may act sometime obnoxiously, but that, since he is constitutionally properly situated, that situation will be very quickly purified. So this conditional and constitutional, here Srila Prabhupada writes, activities of the body and activities of the soul. Any question? Krishna conscious movement is to purify the atmosphere of this material universe. How? By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Actually, purifying process is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So anybody who sincerely take to Krishna consciousness is already purified. But from offenses to us, you get infamy. For Kumara is telling to the Vishnu that, but from offenses to us, you get infamy, and by our pleasure, you get fame. We have created us, you have created us, but now we have become greater than you, the Supreme Lord. What is this? What doubt is there about this? I am the Lord, Vaikuntha, famous as a Tirth because of you. What to speak of Jay and Vijay, object of attachment for me? I will even cut off my own limb, the object of my identity, as I, unable to do that, I am your offender. So, yes.
Prabhuji, one question on this part. Apart from chanting, Prabhuji, what are the ways to glorify the Lord? I mean, especially when we are alone, Prabhuji.
Sharvanam Kirtanam Vishnu. The most powerful is hearing. Hearing holy name and hearing Krishna Katha. So this Kirtan, there are three types of Kirtan, and there are more than three types of Kirtan. The Nam Kirtan, the Leela Kirtan, the Guna Kirtan, the Dham Kirtan. So all these kirtans are the process for purification. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So we know the kirtans are of different types, and of all the kirtan, the Nam Kirtan is topmost. By uttering the name of Vishnu, everybody from inside and outside is purified. Bhaya Bhyanta Suchi Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Is okay? Yadasevaya Charana Padam Pavitra Renum Sadhyaha Shata Akhilha Malam Pratilabda Silam Na Shri Vraktam Apima Maha Bijahati Yasya Prekshaha Lava Artha Itare Niyamana Vahanti. The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. So because I am because you glorify me, and I am your admirer, therefore my feet are so pure that all sins are immediately vanquished, and even the goddess Lakshmi never leave me. So this is the greatness of a Brahman. Even Lakshmi, to whom I show no attachment but to gain whose favor other perform vows, does not give up the dust of my feet, which immediately destroy all contamination, are full of all qualities. But these feet are made pure by service to devotees like you. The relationship between Lord and his devotee is transcendently beautiful. As the devotee thinks that it is due to being a devotee of the Lord that he is elevated in all good qualities, so the Lord also thinks that it is because of his devotion to the servitor that all his transcendent glories have increased. In other words, as devotee is always anxious to render service to the Lord, so the Lord is ever anxious to render service to the devotee. Lord admits herein that although he certainly has the quality that anyone who receives a slight particle of dust of his lotus feet become at once a great personality, this greatness is due to his affection for his devotees. It is because of this affection that the goddess of fortune does not leave him, and that not only one but many thousands of goddesses of fortune engage in his service. In the material world, simply to get a little favor from goddess of fortune, people observe many rigid regulations of austerity and penance. The Lord cannot tolerate any inconvenience on the part of the devotee. He is therefore famous as a Bhakta Vatsala. Result of our coming in Vaikuntha is that you are worshipable Lord. Speak to us like this. Should I say the opposite? By the service to the devotee, the dust particle attached to my feet purify the world and destroy all contamination caused by myself and others. The devotees have all good qualities. Though Lakshmi has all the wealth, she does not leave me. For the glance of Lakshmi, Brahma and others perform austerities. These statements are connected with the previous statement, I should cut off my own arm which offend you, by whose service my feet destroy all contamination. Verse number 8. I do not enjoy the oblation offered by the sacrifice in the sacrificial fire, sacrificer in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouth, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with the ghee which are offered to the mouth of a Brahman, who have dedicated to me the result of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. So there are two ways Lord eats. One way is a fire, where the grains and other things are offered, and the other is through the mouth of a Brahman. And of the two, in this verse, Lord says, I am more satisfied when Brahmins are fed with delicious dishes. That is more pleasing to me than offering oblation and fire. In Nectar of Devotion, it is written that because the Brahmins are born from the mouth of the or face of the Lord, therefore the Brahmins, when we feed Brahman, Lord is satisfied. But then Prabhupada says those Brahmins who speak about and glorify Lord, they should be offered the food grains on behalf of Lord. Those who are not preaching are not supposed to accept such offerings. Before reading the purport, there is a story. The Maharaj of Jaipur, they are Vaishnava from Kumar Sampradaya. They used to give every day some delicious, say, sweet rice, condensed milk, and everything to be offered in the yajna. The Brahmins which were performing yajna every day was actually giving oblation of all these delicious preparation in the fire, but they were really having desire to taste that sweet rice. So one day they decided, well, today only we will put few spoon in the fire and rest we will honor ourselves. So they did like that. That night the king has a dream that today the sacrifice was very pleasing to me, Lord told the king in night. Next day, Lord asked, how did you perform sacrifice yesterday? Now the Brahmins were afraid that some person might have seen us, that we have honored the whole prasad supposed to be offered in the fire sacrifice. If we tell lie, then we will be double punished, so it is better we tell truth. So they said, Maharaj, very sorry. This delicious preparation every day we are putting in the fire as a oblation. We were tempted actually, and therefore we, after putting some in the fire, we honored that. Oh, king said, today only Lord is satisfied with this sacrifice. It means instead of fire, when Brahman is fed, Lord is most pleased. Therefore, from today onward, I will have two dishes, one for fire sacrifice and one for you all. So, practically speaking, Lord is really very happy when qualified Brahmins are fed and he eats through the mouth of a Brahman. So, devotees of Lord or Vaishnava does not take anything without offering it to the Lord. Since the Vaishnava dedicate all the result of his activities to the Lord, he does not taste anything eatable which is not first offered to him. The Lord also relishes giving to the Vaishnava's mouth all eatable offered to him. So Prabhupada is writing those, the Vaishnava get prasad. It is clear from this verse that Lord eats through the sacrificial fire and Brahman's mouth, two ways. So many articles, grain, ghee, etc. are offered in the sacrifice for satisfaction of Lord. The Lord accepts sacrificial offering from the Brahman and devotees. And elsewhere it is stated that whatever is given for the Brahmans and Vaishnava to eat is also accepted by Lord. But here it is said that he accepts offering to the mouth of Brahman and Vaishnava with even greater relish. The best example of this is found in the life of Advaita Prabhu, who fed a first plate of offering to Haridas Thakur. It is said, by feeding you as a Brahman, it is worth feeding 100,000 Brahmins, though he was born in Mohammedan family. So this is the whole story. 100,000. The conclusion is that if one can feed a Brahman or Vaishnava, it is better than performing 100 and 1,000 of sacrifices. In this age, therefore, it is recommended that Hari Har Nam, chanting the holy name of God, and pleasing the Vaishnava are the only means to elevate oneself to the spiritual life. Two things. Prabhupada said, I spread this Krishna conscious movement all over the world when he was traveling from Pittsburgh airport to the New Vrindavan. He said, by chanting Hare Krishna and by distributing prasad. So Srila Prabhupada here writes two things: pleasing the Vaishnava and chanting holy name. And this is the answer given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Grasthas. They should chant Hare Krishna and serve the Vaishnava. By these two methods, they will become immediately Krishna conscious. So simplest way to become Krishna conscious is chant Hare Krishna and render service to the Vaishnava. And rendering service to the Vaishnava is number hearing from them, number one, number two, offering them prasad. By these two things, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Sri Krishna Kirtana Vaishnava 7. Krishna Kirtana and Vaishnava 7 are the two processes by which all people can be purified. Thus I serve the Brahman. Those who serve the Brahman by my order are my servants, because I eat through the mouth of Brahman. Though I eat using fire as my mouth, the offering of the rice made by the sacrificer, I do not eat to the same extent that I eat from the mouth of a Brahman, who eats morsel filled with the ghee and satisfied with the result of his action offered to me. In verse 17, it will be said, Vipranam Deva Devanam Bhagavan Atma Daivatam. The Lord is the object of worship of Brahman. Thus, if Brahman is devoid of bhakti, he should not be respected. Swapakam iva nikshepta loka vipram avaishnavam. A person born in a Brahman family is not a devotee. One should not see his face, exactly as one should not look upon the face of a dog eater. Padma. Thus, contradiction is avoided. A Vaishnava in this context means one who hates Vaishnava. There are also Brahmins such as Vasishtha, who have dharma mixed with little bhakti. Those who are Brahman by birth, such as Narad, are called Vaishnava because of predominance of bhakti. Verse number 9. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and water of Ganga is the remnant of left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds along with Lord Shiva, who bear it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? The difference between the internal and external energy of Supreme Personality of God is that internal energy is in the spiritual world. All the opulence undisturbed, whereas in the external inner or material energy, all opulence are temporary manifestations. The Lord's supremacy is equal in both the spiritual and material world. But the spiritual world is called kingdom of God and the material world is called kingdom of Maya. Maya refers that which is not actual effect. Opulence of material world is a reflection. It stated in Bhagavad Gita that this material world is just like a tree whose roots are up and branches are down. This means that the material world is shadow of the spiritual world. Real opulence is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, the predominant deity is the Lord himself, whereas in the material world there are many lords. There is the difference between the internal and external energies. The Lord says that although he is the predominant factor of internal energy and although the material world is sanctified just by the water of that has washed his feet, He has the greatest respect for Brahmins and the Vaishnava. When the Lord himself offered much respect to the Vaishnava and Brahman, how can one deny such respect to such personalities? Offenses made by Brahmans should be tolerated and not corrected. Who does not tolerate Brahman who have made mistakes? All people would. Showing his crown with his finger, Vishnu says, he speaks to those inquiring why he does so. I carry on my crown the dust from the feet of Brahman. I, whose foot water purify all the worlds and Shiva, have become the wealth of unrestricted power by the mercy of holding a dust of Brahman on my head. One should take the foot water of he who puts Brahman's dust on his head. So this is the glorification of Brahman, but we'll see in the last it's more like overestimation and little joke. Ye me tano dveja varam dohetira madhya bhutani alabdha sharanani cha bheda buddhya drakhashanti agakshatta drishohe ahimanyavastam graddharusha mama kushanti abhidandaneto. The Brahmana, the cow, Dohitra means cow and Dohitra also means daughter. The Brahman's cows and defenseless creature. There are 5 defenseless creature. This is in the purport. Are my own body, they are not different from me. Those whose faulty judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of vulture-like messengers of Yamaraj, the superintendent of sinful person. The enraged servant of the Yam with farms like vulture tear out the eyes of those who with the vision destroyed by sin see difference between my farm and Brahmana cows and shelterless being. Now Srila Prabhupada writes, these are the 5. Defenseless creature according to the Brahma Santa are cow, Brahman, woman, children and old men. Of these 5, Brahmans and cow are especially mentioned in this verse because the Lord is always anxious about the benefit of Brahman and cow and is praised in this way. Lord especially instruct therefore that no one should be envious of these 5, especially cow and Brahman. In some of the Bhagavatam reading, the word Duhitri is used instead of Duhitihi. But in either case, the meaning is same. Duhiti means cow and Duhitri means also to be used to mean cow because cow is supposed to be the daughter of sun god. Just as children are taken care by the parents, women are, as a class should be taken care by a father, husband or grown-up son. Those who are helpless must be taken care by all their respective guardians. Otherwise, guardians will be subject to the punishment of Yamaraj, who is appointed by Lord to supervise the activities of sinful living creature. The assistant or messenger of the Yamaraj are likened here to the vultures. Those who do not execute their respective duties in protecting their wards are compared to serpents. Vultures deal very seriously with serpents. Similarly, by the messenger will deal seriously with the neglectful guardians. The last verse maybe of this section, verse number 11. On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart and who their lotus face is enlightened by nectarian smiles. Respect of Brahmana, even though the Brahman utter harsh words, they look upon the Brahman as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words even as the son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you. Just as I am controlled by you, I am controlled by those who worship the Brahman who have offended others, who see those Brahman as none different from me, who remain pleased in heart in spite of their harsh words, showing lotus faces moistened with a sweet smile, and who pacify them by praising them with words filled with love, just as the son praises an angry father. It has been observed in many instances in the Vedic literature that even the Brahman or Vaishnava curse someone in an angry mood. The person who is cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the Brahman or Vaishnava in the same way. There are many examples of this. For instance, son of Kuvera, when cursed by great sage Narad, did not seek revenge in the same harsh way, but submitted. Here also, when the Jaya and Vijay are cursed by the four Kumaras, they did not become harsh towards them, rather they submitted. That should be the way of treating Brahmana and Vaishnava. One may sometime be faced with a grievous situation created by Brahmana, but instead of meeting him with a similar mood, one should try to pacify him with smiling face and mild treatment. Brahman and Vaishnava should be accepted as the earthly representative of Narayan. They are called, the king is called Nardeva, and Brahmins are called Bhudeva. Bhudeva, representative of Narayan. Nowadays, some foolish person have manufactured the term Daridra Narayan, indicating that poor men should be accepted as representative of Narayan. But in Vedic literature, we do not find that poor men should be treated as representative of Narayan. Of course, those who are unprotected are mentioned here, but the definition of this phrase is clear from the Shastra. The poor man should not be unprotected, but the Brahman should especially be treated as representative of Narayan and should be worshipped like him. It's especially said that to pacify Brahman, one's face should be lotus-like. The lotus-like face is exhibited when one is adored with love and affection. In this respect, the example of fathers being angry at the son and sons trying to pacify the father with smiling sweet word is very appropriate. Here the four Kumaras, although the another example given by Chakravartipad is Bhrigu. Bhrigu Brahman came and he kicked on my chest, but still I did not retaliate. I said, oh, your foot is so soft, my chest is like thunderbolt. You might have been hurt. I am sorry I could not come and receive you at the gate. So the example of Bhrigu is also given. Last verse of this section. Lord glorifies Brahmans. Lord apologizes to Kumaras. Tanme svabhrator avasayam alakshamanau yushmad vetikarma gatim pratipadya sadhya bhoyo mamanitakam itam tan anugraho me yad kalpatam achirato vratayora vivasa. The servant of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it favor done to me if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long. From this statement, we can understand how anxious the Lord is to get his servitor back into Vaikuntha. This incident therefore proves that those who have Once entered Vaikuntha planet can never fall down. The case of Jay and Vijay is not a fall down. It is just an accident. Lord is always anxious to get such devotees back again to the Vaikuntha planet as soon as possible. It is to be assumed that there is no possibility of a misunderstanding between Lord and the devotee. But when there are discrepancies or disruption between one devotee and other, one has to suffer the consequences, although that suffering is temporary. The Lord is so kind to his devotee that he took all responsibility for the doorman's offense and requested sages to give them facilities to return Vaikuntha as soon as possible. Therefore, not seeing the intention of their master by the will of providence, these two should quickly go to place suitable for the offense they committed to you and then return to me. This is my request. O Master, Kumara says, you say that those who commit offense to the Brahman commit offense to you. Why do you again show affection for those two? Lord says, I cannot control myself. It's not possible to give up my natural qualities. Since this punishment is also my mercy to them, not punishment, may the two servants quickly live with me again. Now, the 3 verses more. Verse number 13, 14 and 15, situation of Kumaras. They are confused whether Lord is glorifying Brahman. Is he pleased with the Kumara? Is he upset with the Kumara? It appears that he is more attached to his doorman, so they could not understand the meaning of the words of Lord's speech. Brahma is saying, Brahma vacha athatasya chatim devim rishim kulayam saraswatim naswadaya manyoho dishtanam tesham atmapi atripyata. Brahma continued, even though the sages had been bitten by the serpent of anger, manyu dishtanam, manyu means anger, dishtanam means eaten, bitten. They were beaten by the serpent of anger. Their souls were not satiated with hearing the words Lord's lovely, illuminating speech, Saraswati, which was like the series of Vedic hymns. Though hearing the words of the Lord, which were pleasing, filled with the logic and worthy of worship, the Kumara were still not satisfied, since their mind were beaten by the anger of snake of anger. Chakravarti Pad writes, Saraswati means words and a river. Saraswati means also words and it also means river. The words were pleasant, or the river had a clear water. The words were filled with various logical ornament, or rivers were playful. The words were worshipable, or the river were beneficial for the residents of the sages, Rishi Kulyam. Though tasting that water experienced its sweetness, because their minds were beaten by the snake of anger, filled with the anger, they could not tolerate even the pleasing words of the Lord, because they did not experience the taste. Their souls, their intelligence, their mind were not satisfied. They do not give regard to his words, though they showed great repentance. Non-removal of their anger shows the difficulty in removing offense to the devotee. Daksha once offended Lord Shiva, then had a goat head, then he did the austerities, then he became again Daksh, son of Prachetas, but again he offended Narad. So Vaishnava offend continues. So because they offended Jay and Vijay, therefore even Lord was speaking so sweetly to them, they were still possessed by anger, obsessed by anger. Why? Non-removal of their anger shows the difficulty in removing offense to the devotee. Though the Kumara committed such offense to the devotee, their experience the sweetness of the fragrance of Tulsi from the Lord's feet shows the strength of Lord's mercy, which follow after the mercy to the Kumara by Jay and Vijay, who were repentant after offending Brahman. If the Kumara had not committed offense to the devotees, then they would have developed pure dasya prem from the mercy of the devotee and the Lord. But because of remaining presence of the offense, they developed only the stage of Shanta Bhakti. These lines are more philosophical, that Kumaras, because of offense to the Jay and Vijay, they got only the Shanta Bhakti, the neutrality mellow. If they could have not done this, then they could have got the Dasya Bhav. And for this, Chakravarti Bhat is quoting Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That's called Ras Abhas. By an offense against the dearest devotee of the Lord, even the real Bhav will be destroyed. If the offense is grave, if the offense is medium, the Bhav will turn to Bhav Abhas. And if the offense is slight, the Bhav will become an inferior type. So in this case, the Bhav become inferior from Dasya to Shanta because of the mild offense to the devotee. Now, Satim Vyadaya Shrinavanto Lagavim Grau Arthagan Gahavaram Vighaya Gadha Gambhiram Na Vidosta Chikirshitam. They could not understand the intention of the Supreme Lord. The Lord's excellent speech was difficult to comprehend because of its momentous import and the most profound significance. The sages heard it with wide open ears and pondered it as well. But although hearing, they could not understand what he intended to do. It should be understood that no one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his speaking. There is no difference between the Supreme Person and his speeches, for he stands on the absolute platform. The sages tried with wide open ears to understand the words from the lips of the Supreme Lord. But although his speech was very concise and meaningful, the sages could not completely comprehend what he was saying. They could not even comprehend the purport of the speech or what the Supreme Lord wanted to do, nor could they understand whether the Lord was angry or pleased with them. Chakravarti Pad is a lengthy purport. In addressing sages who were supposed to be omniscient, he said, "These are my two associates." This indicates, "O fools, you cursed my associate. You have used too much force. Ignoring my intention, they offended you." However, since previous to offending the Kumara, the doorkeeper had not ignored the Lord's intention. This is the crooked utterance of the Lord, indicating that Lord was actually angry with Kumaras. Using the fourth type of Atikshokti, the Lord has reserved the cause and effect of ignoring the Lord and offending the Kumara. The doorkeeper offended Kumara and thus ignored the Lord's intention. Thus is not blaming the doorkeepers. The punishment is permitted by me. If I had not given my permission, then the punishment ordered by you would not take place at all, since it is the letter said, "Though I am capable of nullifying the curse, I do not desire to do so," in verse 29. The reason that you would feel worthless if I cancelled the curse. My respect for Brahman intoxicated you. I consider that I have committed an offense. This shows Lord's great love for the doorkeeper, taking them as his very self. I have attained fame as a tirath because of you. These are just words of respect for the sages. I should cut off my own arm since the Lord identified the doorkeeper as his arm. The statement shows this great attachment to them. My feet are made pure by service to you. This again, just external praise by the Lord. Does the Lord's foot dust become pure by service to Brahman? Does that destroy all contamination? By that service, does Lakshmi never give up the Lord? I do not eat the offering of the sacrificer. You Brahman are fond of eating, therefore you must be fed. It is well known to the people that I eat through the mouth of Brahman. Gasam charanta, eating morsels, can also mean that like respectful cow grazing in the field, the Brahmans rejoice the respect given by me. What you think gives me happiness is not service to me. I have wealth of powers because of holding the foot dust of Brahman on my crown. Because of that, my foot water purifies the whole universe as Ganga. This type of respect is actually a joke. The cow and Brahman are not different from me since they are my body. This is also a joke. I am controlling Brahman who offend others. I am controlled by Brahman who offend others. It is natural quality of Brahman to become angry. And I and my devotee laugh at them. I give natural tolerance only to my devotee, and I will be controlled by that alone. Because tolerance did not appear in Jai and Vijay at this time, I have shown indifference to them. Thus they have been cursed by you, and it will not be otherwise. Because I was not indifferent to Ambrish, there was no effect from anger of Durvasa. On the contrary, the burning produced by my chakra was directly produced by me, O lover of the Brahman. Thus Durvasa fell at the feet of Ambrish. That the Lord was displeased is also understood from the later statement of the Kumara. Kumara will say, O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these two innocent persons, or also to us we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed two faultless persons. So this very lengthy purport by Chakravarti Pad, all the verses spoken by Lord in glorification of Brahman has a different meanings, and Kumara were confused. So now, last verse of the situation of Kumara. Te yoga maya arabadha parameshtya mohodayam porochoho pranjalya vipraha prahashtaha kshubheta tvacha. For Brahman sages were nevertheless extremely delighted to behold him, and he experienced a thrill throughout their bodies. And they experienced. They then spoke as follows to the Lord who had revealed the multi-glories of Supreme Personal Godhead through his internal potency Yogamaya. The joyful sages with folded hands and hair standing on end then spoke to the Lord who had displayed the great power through the Yogamaya from the beginning. The sages were almost too puzzled to speak before Supreme Personality of Godhead for first time, and the hair of their bodies stood erect due to their extreme joy. The highest opulence in the material world is called Parameshtya, which means opulence of Brahma. But that material opulence of Brahma, who lives on the topmost plant within the material world, cannot compare to the opulence of the Supreme Lord, because transcendental opulence in the spiritual world is called by Yoga Maya, whereas the opulence of material world is caused by Mahamaya. Considering for long time whether the Lord favored or condemned them, they concluded that the Lord was pleased with them, and thus they rejoiced. They spoke to the Lord who had revealed great power by his Yoga Maya from the beginning. If the most powerful Lord, who is not dependent on anyone else, has criticized us in the form of praise, and we will be punished, then he should say clearly that we Brahman should fall to hell, since we offended his devotees. Considering in this way, their hair stood on end instead of shubhita. The word kupita is seen sometime. This referred to hair poles, kupa, hair kupa, and indicated that the hair stood on the end. Now the next section. Kumara replied to the Narayan, verse 16 to 25. Though they had concluded the Lord was pleased, they again asked question in order to hear the Lord's intention from his mouth. Rishya uchoho navayam bhagavan vidmaha, we don't know Supreme Lord. Tavadeva chikirshitam, what is your intent, my dear Lord? Kirto me anugrascheti, you have been very merciful on us. Yad adhyaksha, you are the adhyaksha, means president or controller of everything. Prabhashase, and your planet is self-eliminated. Maybe Prabhupada's purport is on Prabhashase. The sages said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are unable to know what you intend for us to do. For even though you are the supreme ruler of all Adhyaksh, you speak in our favor as if we had done something good for you. The sages could understand that the Supreme Personal Godhead, who is above everyone, was speaking as if he were in the wrong. Therefore, it was difficult for them to understand the words of Lord. They could understand, however, that the Lord was speaking in such a humble way just to show them his all-merciful favor, anugrah. Though they had understood, they again asked question in order to hear from the mouth of the Lord his intention. We do not know your intention, whether you want to be merciful to us or want to punish us. Since you, the Supreme Lord, say to us that we have shown mercy to you, and since that is impossible, wanting to punish us, you first joke with us, or maybe desiring to favor us to help spread Dharma that you created. Since you favor Brahmins, you actually are praising us. Please tell us your intention, since we are ignorant and unable to understand what you desire. Verse number 17. Brahmanasya param devam brahmana kilate prabho vipranam deva devanam bhagavan atma devatam. Bhagavan atma devatam means you are worshipable by Brahmanas. O Lord, you are the supreme director of the Brahmanical culture. You are considering the Brahmins to be the highest position as your example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipable deity, not only for the gods but for the Brahmins also. Deva Bhagavan Atma Devatam. So Srila Prabhupada writes, from Brahma Santa Krishna, Sarva Karana Karanam, you are cause of all causes. And there are undoubtedly many demigods, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are three controlling, but actually Vishnu is the Lord of Brahma and Shiva. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Lord is very favorable towards all activities performed according to Brahmanical culture, are the qualities of control of the senses and mind, cleanliness, forbearance, faith in scripture, and practical. What is this? This is the verse in Bhagavad Gita about the qualities of a Brahman. Samo, Dhamma, Tapasya, Chamarjavam, that is what Prabhupada has given the verse here. And then Prabhupada writes, the Lord is super soul of everyone. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that Lord is the source of all emanation, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Thus is also the source of Brahma and Vishnu. So these two Bhagavad Gita verses there are very clear to you. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, first verse is Samodama Tapashocham, and second verse is Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Chakravarti writes, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad writes, in this verse, Kumara explained how it is hard to understand Lord's words. Only because you are fond of Brahman, do the Brahman have a right position? They do not have the position naturally. The Brahmins are worshipped by the Devatas, Deva Devanam. But you are Bhagavan, by nature, Atma Devatam. You are in a higher position. You are actually in the position of Lord, not the Brahmins. Atma Devatam also means without you, they are simply dead. So what is the meaning of saying that without service to them, your feet dust has no power? No. You are Adhyaksha, controller. Verse number 18. Tvattaha sanatano dharmo rakshate tanubhistava dharmasya paramo guhyo nirvikaro bhavan mataha. Bhavan mataha means our opinion. In our opinion, you are nirvikar, unchangeable. Guhyo, you are confident. Param Guhyo, you are most confidential. Dharmasya. So which do you think, Prabhupada? Sanatan Dharma. So what is Sanatan Dharma and what is most confidential? Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Prabhupada will discuss this. You are the source of eternal occupation of all living entities, Sanatan Dharma. And by your multi-manifestation of personality of Godhead, you have always protected religion. You are the supreme object of religious principle, and in our opinion, you are inexhaustible and unchangeable. Nirvikara. The statement in this verse, Dharmasya Paramo Goyam, to the most confident part of all religious principle, confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Conclusion of Lord Krishna and his advice to Arjuna, give up all Sarva Dharma and Parityaja. This is the most confidential knowledge in executing religious principles. Surrender unto me. In the Bhagavatam also it is stated that if one does not become Krishna conscious after very diligently executing one's specified religious duties, all his labor in following so-called religious principle is simply a waste of time. What is this verse of Bhagavatam? What is this verse of Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, I just remember the last part. It says, Sharma eva hi kevalam.
Yeah, Sharmevi Kevalam. Varna Ashram Vibhaga. One follow all the Varna Ashram carefully, but he does not actually become a devotee of the Lord. Then it is a Sharam Evi Kevalam. Yeah, this is the verse. What is that? Okay, this verse is clear. Now